Hi, and welcome to the 76th episode of NiinaNknitting. My name is Niina, and I live in Jyväskylä in central Finland with my husband, our 2 kids, and a dog. And this is my podcast where I talk about my knitting, only knitting today. I have been known to show a project of crochet or sewing too, but today it's only going to be knitting, and I have already recorded all the little bits of video with my stuff, and this is the last one I'm recording and the first one that you're going to see. So I didn't mean my podcast to be twice in a year kind of thing. I have mentioned that I have quite a commute nowadays. I don't work here in Jyväskylä, and I just haven't talked about it a lot because during the school year, I felt that if I think about it too much, I will probably just crumble and burn out. So it's been tough for me. It's not, it's personal what you think. It will be a long commute, but the fact that I come home, in my opinion, pretty late in the evening or in the afternoon, whichever. Then I have some coffee and start working again because I have to prepare stuff for next day. And during weekdays, I really don't have any time for myself or for knitting for that matter. So it's been tough. But today is Tuesday, May 23rd, and it's only a couple of weeks before summer vacation. I don't really have a lot of teaching anymore. It's just how my work hours have gone this year. So I'm working at home, evaluating. I have some Teams meetings with some students for their oral exams, things like that. But not having to drive to work every day means that I don't have to get up insanely early in the morning, and that's helped a lot. And besides, I don't have preparing to do in the evening, so I have had time to knit, which is great. The stuff that I'm going to show you today is things that I have done during the weekends. So you will see quite a few projects. The thing is that I think I've been kind of rushing it all the time when I've been showing them on my video, so I apologize for that. And of course, it's gonna be one of those jigsaw puzzle kind of things. I'm in different surroundings and probably just hurrying up all the time. But, well, maybe I'll get to record an episode this summer, and who knows, maybe it'll be different. We'll see. But I'll leave you with my stuff and meet you at the end of the episode. I was a little hesitant whether to talk about this at all anymore. I'm talking about my Lady Empoisonnée sweater because I knit it a year ago. I finished it a year ago, and I have been wearing it quite a lot, and I like it. But it's been a long time, and I just haven't found a moment where I could really show it to you. It's been easier to show the smaller projects, and that's why I just haven't gotten around to it. But now I have
a few projects where I had some inspiration from this shirt. So I figured, okay, fine, I'll do a bit where I talk about my Lady Empoisonnée, which is a pattern by Triple L de Mag, a French sweater designer, or well, a French designer, knitting wear designer. And I used Drops Baby Merino yarn in here. The colorway is number 14, this purple one. I'm not sure how well the color shows on camera because it's a very, very sunny day. But anyway, it's number 14. And I think it is 100% merino, but I can correct myself on the screen if it's not true. I used 3.5 millimeter needles in the cuffs or in the ribbing, and that's US size 4. And on the other parts of the sweater, I used my number 4.0 millimeter needles, that's US size 6. And this size is double XL, and I used just over 450 grams of yarn. I've marked 455 grams of this yarn, and I really like it. Like I said, I've been wearing it quite a lot. One thing that's really nice is the ribbing. Let's see. I don't know if it's focusing or not because I can't see anything. I'm facing the sun and all that, but yeah, it's not your standard 2x2, 1x1 or anything rib, and I really like how it looks. It's not very doesn't pull in a lot in this project, but otherwise I like how it looks. It's really pretty. The yarn itself pills a bit, but I don't think it's bad. It's fine. About the model, if you are sensitive to the neckline being high up, then you might want to do this in a different way, maybe a little bit lower cut neckline, because it does come pretty high up here around your throat. It doesn't really bother me, but it might bother some other people. And the way I made this, I don't think the joint between, like at the shoulder here, at the tip of the shoulder, is very good. I very often feel like it's doing a bit like this. So maybe I made the sleeves too long, very possible, but I just didn't want to have them too short. I don't like short sleeves. So if I had shorter sleeves, the shoulder could be a bit better on its place, maybe. I could, of course, just put my needles in and shorten the sleeves because they are knit from shoulder down, but I don't care. It's good. It's all good. As you can see, the pattern itself is pretty repetitive, but it was great, like TV or podcast watching knitting, in my opinion. The start of the sleeve, where you start doing like short rows to get the shape, was something that I haven't done a lot. I'm not saying that it's my first time. I may have done it in a sweater before, but more or less I don't do that a lot, and I like how it looks, just that maybe the length of the sleeve isn't quite right for me. And what else? This part, maybe very boring to knit, but I think I like how it looks. I prefer this for stockinette. This is nicer. What else? Don't remember if I have anything else to say about this, but yeah, it's a very nice sweater. The same ribbing is here at the hem, and then of course around the collar. Yeah, but the ribbing is something that I've used in a couple of other projects, so that's why I wanted to show you the shirt.
I have a few pairs of socks. Some of them I don't have here anymore. I'll have pictures, and some of them I do have physically in here. And the first one was a hoe last time I recorded anything, or last time I uploaded an episode. I actually had started the second sock, but here's the pair. So these are my ankle socks, the ones that I knit last summer. And I used two different yarns in here. I started from the cuff. Yes, I did. I'm just trying to make sure, because I didn't make notes of that. But yes, I started from the cuff, cast on a number of stitches, maybe 64, and then knit this 2x2 rib in Drops Fabel yarn, and that is I think I have the colorway number 106. And then after I'd knit some maybe 20 rows or something, I think I have notes in my project page, which the link is down below. And then I changed to this green and white, blue and white yarn, which is from Silmusolmu. This is Silmusolmu Merino Sukkis yarn, and the colorway is called Suometar, and I had made a scarf out of this yarn, and this is a leftover. So I think I knit maybe one round, maybe two, and then I started the heel flap, and it's an eye of partridge heel flap, maybe. Actually no, it's a normal slip stitch heel. Maybe, yes. I think it's just slip stitch heel and not an eye of partridge. Doesn't look that way. But I really love the fact how the colorway sort of plays in here. You have these thin stripes whenever you're knitting stockinette in the round, and then here in the heel flap when I'm doing back and forth, we have these thicker stripes, and then of course in the heel turn you have even thicker stripes when you're doing a short rows back and forth. It's really, really fun. And then of course once you pick up stitches and start doing in the round, yeah, the thin stripes continue. There's just a little bit of pooling in here, for example, the sort of light blue, but I don't think it doesn't bother me at all. And then I had done, of course, the gusset decreases and then knit to a certain length before I changed to back to the Fabel yarn, and then I just did a normal wedge toe and a grafting, at the toe. But yeah, that was all. I had finished them really fast after I had recorded the video clip that I showed you last time. The thing is that, of course, I showed you the clip last January, and yeah, so a lot later. Then I have another pair of socks. This is something I maybe hadn't started when I recorded stuff. Well, it doesn't really matter if I had or not. So I didn't have any pattern for the ankle socks because it was just plain stockinette and just a very, very short leg. Maybe not a leg at all, just a cuff. And then I have another pair of socks once I get them on the mannequin feet. And these are a lot longer. Let's see, maybe I'll just show them this way. And maybe, yeah. So here's the pair. This pattern is called Rain, Rain, Go Away. It's by Anna. And this was the lap 5 pattern for the Super Sock World Championship last summer. I have used 2 different colors of Novita Venla yarn in here. I'm just checking the colors. So the color number in here, this like brown one, is number 658, Kaura, which is oatmeal, and then the blue one, the navy color, is number 170. It is called Laivasto, which is navy in Finnish. And I used 2.5 millimeter needles, which is US size 1.5, and that's what I used in these 2. So that's what I use in fingering weight yarn socks. You can see this one is quite a lot of baggier than, for example, the ankle socks. It is because of the color work. Let me check my notes. So nothing else. So it was a cuff down sock. There's a twisted rib cuff, which looks really nice. And then you have these umbrellas with some rain. And you have some stripes, and then you have, of course, the water drops in the colorway. I think the pattern said to make a certain number of repeats of these water drops of water for the competition, and I may have made a little bit longer because I wasn't paying attention or wasn't reading carefully enough, but it doesn't matter. They're longer anyway. So as you can see, they're even longer than my mannequin leg, and usually my sort of medium height legs, they are just at the end of the leg in this plastic leg, or maybe just a wee bit over the edge. So this is significantly longer. Doesn't matter. Of course, they are loose because I'm not a good color work knitter, as you know if you've seen my podcast before, and which means that I'm very careful not to tighten too much, because I normally knit really, really tight. Like this one is very tight knitting, and I used the same number of needles in here. Should I have gone down a size to get it like a denser fabric? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, they're fine. They're fine. Like, it's different, but it's fine. And it's doesn't look bad, but it's just different. Then you have sort of a slip stitch heel flap. It had something. It's not just a normal one for the look of it, but I can't remember what difference it had. Then it has an heel turn all in this one color, and then you started doing stripes to get sort of a wedge for the decreases, so that wouldn't break this patterning. And yeah, then a few stripes here before the toe, and then a normal wedge toe in here. So yeah, I did feel it was quite a long thing to do, partly because I made them longer than I had to, but then again, I had to, well, anyway, more than required for the Super Sock Championships. Was it that? World Championships. And no, I wasn't competing, like serious competing. I wanted to make socks that were eligible for the championship, but I didn't have any goals otherwise. But yeah, so it was a bit tedious because I don't do a lot of color work. I had to read the chart all the time. I do that when I'm doing cables too, so it's not different from that. But you know, playing with two yarns is just not my cup of tea. But the outcome is nice, so I think they actually fit my foot, so I may keep them for myself, because why wouldn't I? I'm actually wearing out quite a few of my socks, and I have all these socks that are ready, but I haven't shown in a video, so I'm sort of eagerly waiting eagerly waiting to get them in my feet. I know it's sunny outside and spring is here, but nevertheless, I do wear a lot of woolen socks indoors because I feel the floors are cold. Is it a fact of the matter? I don't know, but that's how I feel. So then I should have pictures of 2 pairs of Babyverse baby boots, and I've knit them numerous times before. I had a friend who wanted or asked me if I could knit her a pair. I've knit her before, and to give to a colleague of hers, and so I did. We chose 2 yarns to go together first, and when I got to the change of color to really see how they look in a sock or in a boot, I messaged her to say, really, actually, they don't look great together. So I decided to pair them with a white or an off-white maybe. I think I made her, I can't remember which one was first. But you know, there's a cafe au lait color, or like a light brown color with white, off-white, and then there's a lilac or something with white. So either pair was for her colleague, and then the other one was just because I had paired them with the first color and I didn't think they looked great together. So I made a change of plans. And once I had the second color next to me when I was sitting on the sofa, and I had finished the first pair, I didn't have anything to do. Oh, well, I had something. I had some whips, but I didn't feel like working on them. And so I started making another pair of baby verses. And actually, when I had finished the first pair and I knit the sock for the second pair, I was going to the movies, and I tripped and I fell, and then I broke my little finger, my pinky finger. It's still not straight anymore. So this one I broke it, and it was sort of tied together with the ring finger for 3 weeks, maybe. I think 3 weeks. And after that, it's not straight. Maybe I did go and see the doctor afterwards and got some instructions. He said that the joint in here still had some swelling in there. I think the joint looks crooked, but I know it's my left pinky finger. Who cares? But yeah, so which meant that I had 3 weeks pause in my knitting and everything, because I couldn't knit because I had these two in a package. So that was weird. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, hey, yay! Now I have the use of both my fingers. And then I tried knitting, and oh, golly, it hurt quite a bit. So it wasn't like functional right away. So I took some sort of gymnastics. I had to, give it a little more time, which was really weird because I'm used to knitting all the time when I'm watching TV or watching podcasts or something, and I couldn't do that, and it was strange. But then again, it was in the fall, so I heard it. I broke the finger on the last day in September. Yes. I broke it. It was a Friday evening. I was going to the movies, and then of course I tumbled down and I heard a snap. I was like, oh crap. And I tried. Okay, I can sort of move it. And I was going to the movies, and I thought I was in a hurry, and that's why I was not paying enough attention. That's why I tripped, and then I was like, come on, I can go and see the movie and see how it goes. I actually did remove my wedding band because I figured that there may be some swelling. And so I was watching the movie. I had wrapped a scarf around my left hand because I wanted to protect it, not to move it too much, because I figured something had broke. Anyway, so I saw the movie, a Finnish one. You won't know it if you're not a Finn. If you are a Finn, it's called Hätinen Hautajaisia with Iina Kuustonen. And then since it was a Friday evening, I was like, I'm not gonna go to the emergency department because there'll be drunks in there. This is not life-threatening. I'm just gonna wait until the next morning. So I did. I just took a few painkillers, and Saturday morning drove, of course, to the A&E or whatever it's called, and was very quick. They not admitted me, but they went. I saw a nurse or triage nurse, whatever, and then just a few minutes later, the doctor called me, and then she looked at the finger, and then she made a whatever something to get me x-rayed, and then I went to the x-ray, and then went back to see the doctor, who looked at the pictures and said, oh yeah, it is just a little bit fractured, and yes, this is how we treat it. And so I was in and out in, I'd say, half an hour maybe. So it was really quick. Yes, so I had half finished the second pair, which was okay because I wasn't making it for anyone. I just made it because I had the yarn and I felt like it, and I had finished the one I was supposed to make, so it was fine. Yeah, so after that, there was quite a pause before I got to knitting again. And my middle niece had her birthday in October, so it was pretty tight since I had broken my finger at the beginning, or like I had it treated on the 1st of October. So I told my sister that, or maybe I messaged my niece, whichever. I let them know that, yeah, and there'll be a delay with her present, because I hadn't knit them, of course. So here are some pictures, I think. I'm not even sure if I took just a short video, maybe not. Anyway, so I did, once I had, like, my left hand had recuperated enough to be able to knit, I made her a pair of tuomikki socks. So the pattern is called tuomikki. It's by Juurakko Creations, a Finnish pattern, I think, only in Finnish. The yarn I used again for this niece also was House Neulelanka Onni in colorway 2264. It's the same color and the same yarn that I had used for her big sister when I made her the socks in spring. So the one that has her birthday now, or just had her birthday. I used my 4.0 millimeter needles. That's US size 6. And yeah, they were for my middle niece. And a nice pair of socks. A thick yarn, so it's very different from fingering weight. I don't use that kind of yarn a lot anymore, so it was different, of course. And doing cables in a thick yarn is, actually just starting from using 4.0 millimeter DPNs was odd. But yeah, so they turned out nice, and then I sent them to her later. I can't even remember when, but yes, finished them, and they were nice, and she liked them, so that's all that counts, right?
A project that I knit at the beginning of this year, I knit the same thing twice. I don't have my first one, but this is my second one. This is a beanie, as you can see. I knit this for myself. Just gonna check the info because this is the second one and I have it on the next page. So the yarn here is Schachenmayr Regia premium silk 4-ply, and the colorway is number 80 rose red, and I used I may have used 3.0 millimeter needles. I wasn't sure and I hadn't marked it on Ravelry. And the way I did it was I cast on 120 stitches with the Chinese waitress cast on, and then I just started going round and doing the ribbing I had in the Lady Empoisonnée sweater. And the idea was just to go round and round long enough to have a good size beanie, and then do a few decreases, and then just decrease everything here at the crown. I don't know if you can see it, and I don't know if it's in focus or anything, if it's even on the screen, but yeah, and just cinch everything in. And this is for myself. Oh, I have my earbuds on and I'm gonna pull this over my ears. Let's take a pause and not talk because I can edit it out. Okay, so now I don't know how the sound is, but this is more or less the way I was using this beanie this winter. It's long enough to go over my ears and here at my forehead, so I won't get cold in any way. And the first one I did with the same idea was for my sister. I can put a picture, I think, on the screen. I had used Filcolana Arwetta gray yarn and Sensai mohair silk together in that beanie with the same 120 stitches, and I had used 4.0 millimeter needles in that beanie, so it's slouchier or looser than this one because of course the yarn also is sort of thicker because it has a fingering weight and a silk mohair lace weight yarn held together, so it is thicker than just fingering weight as in this beanie. And otherwise the idea was the same, just go round and round with this type of ribbing, and then at the top decrease on a few rounds and then finish it off. And voila, a beanie for my sister, and I gave it to her for her birthday. Maybe it was a late birthday because, you know, because of my finger I was late in everything. But yeah, I posted it at some point last winter. But yeah, that's my two beanies, and I like how they turned out. I have another Schachenmayr Regia, the one this type, premium silk 4-ply in another colorway. So I'm thinking maybe for next winter I might knit another one in that other colorway. We'll see. But yeah, it's easy and very simple, and fits my head, so all good. And then there is another project that I don't have anymore. It was for a friend of mine. I gave it to her on Christmas. So I'll put some pictures here. It was a gnome. I think I have shown it to you in perhaps my last episode. That was the beanie. No, the gnome was in pieces then, I think. and I had probably finished all the parts, but I just hadn't put them all together. But yeah, I did did stuff them and then sew them together. I had a bit trouble with the body part because I didn't know which was up and which was down, and which was the front, which part was the front and which was the back, but fudged it. And you know, it's just a gnome. It's just a gnome. I did use a pattern. It's called Christmas Gnomes by Creative Needs, maybe. I have a poor handwriting here in my notes. You'll find it on the screen. I used various DK yarns, Christmassy colors, and yeah, just finally sewed it together, and you'll see the result in the pictures. And then there was another sort of what shall I do kind of project for my daughter. She likes to go downhill skiing. She doesn't have a beanie to go under her helmet, so I made this balaclava hat for her. I don't know if it's on the screen because I can't see the screen. Maybe it is. So this is a drops design, 219 slash or hyphen 22 Uncharted Territory by Drops Design. The yarn that I started with here, the green one, is Drops Merino Extra Fine in colorway 18. This green thing, and starts here, I think. It was such a long time ago. I think I used a provisional cast on in here, so I had a set of very disturbing because I can't see anything. And now the dog's walking. There's some really dry, I don't know, grass or something. And I noticed it because I was testing these earbuds. And I noticed that whenever he was walking here on my right in the grass, he was making a really big noise, and the microphone was catching it badly. So apologies if you heard a lot of crackling noises. And now there's a woodpecker. I don't know if you can hear that one. Anyway, so I think you started here. You started doing this part, and it doesn't look like a provisional cast on. So yeah, I cast on the number of stitches, and then I started doing this sort of rectangle, and then you started, oh yeah, then you picked up some stitches and did all the way in here, came back, and then picked up stitches from this part, and then you were doing back and forth, and then of course at some point increasing, and then in here finally coming together and doing it in the round, and of course doing some decreases here at the back of the neck, at the back of the head in a way, and then some ribbing for the neck, and then increases in here before you cast it off, and or yeah, bind it off. And then I ran out of the green yarn in here, so I just used approximately the same weight of yarn in black, and then this light blue, and I don't know which type of yarns they are. There were just some leftovers I found in my stash. But yeah, I made it for her. I have a picture, I think, and she hasn't worn it, but you know, It was just something that I wanted to make, and she actually did need it, but then didn't find it that important anyway, I guess. So used 4.0 millimeter needles, that's US size 6, and that's all that I had in my notes.
So I'd had a pattern in my queue, Ravelry queue, for quite a while. I don't even know how long, years maybe. Just a small kid's hat that looks nice. And one of these days, I had just finished something, and I had whips, but I wasn't sort of drawn to them, and so okay, I'm just gonna go and try and do the kid's hat because it's gonna be easy and quick and all that. And I had some mystery, I think this is merino wool, and I think this is sort of maybe sports weight. But yeah, so I made this hat. And this hat, the pattern's called Gooseberry Hat. It's by Sovinitz. I think it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And like I said, it's a mystery yarn. It's really nice green. And I'm guessing it's some sort of wool. And it's soft enough to be merino, I think. And I used 4.0 millimeter needles, that's US size 6, and cast on edge is this one, and then you knit this the knit pearl sort of ribbing for some time, and then you start doing the decreases that you can see in here. Yeah, the decreases are only in the knits, I think. No, it's not. It's got a, no, can't remember. Anyway, but it looks nice. And then you do an I-cord, and then you just tie it into a knot. And this is, I don't know, I don't have anybody to fit in with this size head. But I mean, my husband's siblings have smaller kids, so maybe one of them can wear this maybe next summer. Anyway, I just wanted to try out the pattern, which was fun. And yeah, and it was, straightforward, so nothing too difficult about it. And then of course, because it has no garter stitch brim, nor oh, it has, oh yes, sorry, just don't remember how it was. So you have a few rounds of just knits in here, and that's why it curls up like this. Yes, it has a rolled edge because you're only knitting for a number of rows in order to get this kind of brim. Yeah, looks fun, and it was quick, and I got some use out of whatever random yarn I had in my stash, and I got to try out the pattern. The lighting's going back and forth. I think this is a bit too dark for what it is, and this is too much. It has too much light. But yeah, it's a nice forest green, let's say. This last Christmas I was really lousy at. I had nothing for my nieces. I had not done anything, and I was out of ideas also, and I just hadn't had time, and I was kind of well, can't say exhausted, but really tired. So I asked them at Christmas, sorry, this is how it is now. Is there anything you'd like me to make for you? Because, I love to knit, but, haven't yet. So one of them said that they'd like a really bulky beanie. I don't know if they're a thing in other parts of the world, but in Finland they are. Yeah, it's logical because winters tend to be cold in here. And so this one said that, yeah, she'd like one of those really bulky hats or beanies. And it didn't take me a lot to Google and find a pattern that, to show her, mean something like this. And so I found a pattern for this. And sorry, the lighting is what it is. But this pattern is from Novita Knits, and you'll find the link to my project page down below the video, and I'll have the URL code address for this in there. So it's a really, it's a heavy, big hat, and it's just a really long rib tube that you're supposed to fold twice, so that it really doesn't even matter what kind of cast on you make, because it's knit from the brim up. So it really doesn't matter what kind of cast on. I think I did the Chinese waitress cast on with a crochet hook, which leaves this really nice chain in the brim, but really doesn't matter because it's gonna be inside the folds. And since it's a very big and heavy hat, it's gonna be really thick around your ears. So Novita pattern, and using Novita or yarn also. So this is Novita woolly wood. Maybe it's mirror image in your case. I can't, it shows me the mirror, but whatever it is. So woolly wood, Novita woolly wood is a tencel yarn, has 225 meters in 100 grams. So it is just a tad bit lighter than Novita Veljestä. It's got 70% tencel and 30% wool, merino wool. So where's the end of the yarn here? Oh, it's gonna be really difficult to show you, but let's see where the camera is. There it is. And no, you can't see it, but it's this sort of chain. No, can't focus, but it's a chain structure in the yarn. Really strange. Just a bit of wool, and then the rest is tencel, which is a wood fiber. Very ecological though, as far as I know. So this is one of the yarns. You're holding 4 strands of yarn together. So 2 of this Novita woolly wool, and then there's some mohair fluffy stuff. This is Novita, not woolly wood. Sorry, wrong ball band. Seasonal collection, Tuuli, and this comes in 25 gram balls, and 25 grams has 225 meters, so as long a yarn as in this one. And the idea is to hold 4 yarns together in the beginning. So 2 strands of this and 2 strands of the fluffy stuff, which I didn't mention is 60% mohair and 40% viscose. So this is how it looks once it's 4 times or 2 times tencel, 2 times mohair and 2 times the tencel wool stuff. And I used 6.5 millimeter needles when I was knitting this. That is US size 10.5. And this monster weighs 193 grams. So it is really heavy. And I'm going to show it on my hand. Doesn't, oh, probably look. Oh, what fun. So, yes, very big. And if you want to have sort of a not as thick a brim, or the folds aren't as thick, then of course it's gonna be more slouchy here if you want to wear it like that, but you know. And yes, so 4 strands of yarn together. And when I was blocking this, because I wanted to try and see what happens when you wash it, and I was just hand washing it in a lukewarm water and some wool detergent. And I think I was just scrunching it together and didn't even use a towel to get the excess water out of it. Mistake number 1, I guess. Anyway, and then I had this laid flat on a surface somewhere. I think it was in the sauna, on the sauna seats, which is not a good thing because it's not a very airy surface. So maybe on a drying rack of some sort is better. And I did, go back and forth because it took me very, very long to get this dry. I can't remember. Maybe 4 days, even longer. So yeah. So when I get this in the mail, and when I sort of try to include some some instructions what to do, it says 30 degrees. You can wash the woolly wool in 30 degrees Celsius. Don't remember what that is in Fahrenheit, but maybe I'll put it on the screen. And then this other thing, the fluff is just in just says in hand temperature, which means even less than 30, I guess. Yes, you'll just have to wash it by hand. I was just wondering if you could put it in a wool cycle or hand wash cycle. Maybe. Just, just to get some of the water out, because otherwise it takes really, really long to dry. But I'm pretty sure it's warm. And whatever, it's something that she wanted, I guess. So
I've made it. And this is how the crown looks if you want to see that. So yeah, crown decreases. Pretty nice. To using a big set of needles, then yeah, it doesn't was an easy enough to knit. So maybe if you don't want to make it as big, and you make it out of some other kind of yarn, then it'll be better, easier, and at least easier to wash and to get dry. Another thing that I made for my daughter, I had some leftover DK weight yarn, and I felt like she needed a pair of gloves. And so I made her a pair. These are a little bit small for me, but they fit her pretty nicely. So I had these great colored yarns, and this red one is Lanitium Ex Machina Basic Merino Sport in Brick Wall. The colorway is called Brick Wall. And then the two other colors are Handu Sukkis. And the colorways don't have names, or at least the ones I had didn't have any names on them, just a purple and a gray, dark gray one. And I have it on my project page, which I will link down below. The sorts of the number of rows I made in each place, and oh, the dog's back, sorry. And then the pattern that I used, but it was, I think, in a Finnish, yes, Yhteishyvä is a magazine for a grocery store chain, and so the pattern is in Finnish, but there is a link in my project page for that web page where I found the pattern. But yeah, so I used a different color for the stripes in the cuff, and then of course made the little fingers different color, ring fingers different color, and so forth. And after I had finished the pair, which I was very happy with, I used my 3.0 millimeter needles in the cuff, that's US size 2.5, and then 3.5 millimeter in the rest of the hand, or hand and the fingers, that's US size 4. And I had leftovers after this, so I decided that I'd make a beanie using all the rest. So I started at the brim, whatever, and I did a tubular cast on apparently this time, and I will not be able to show it to you, but it's a tubular cast on. I think I have the info maybe on my page saying how many stitches I started with, but I didn't use any pattern in here. I just made twisted rib for a few rows, and then I continued with the brick wall, then with the purple, with the brick wall, with the gray one, with the brick wall, and then the rest of the purple. And then so I used up all the gray in here, and then of course the rest of the hat is in the brick wall color, and I just made a lot of decreases at the crown and then finished it off. And I just had a little bit of nugget left for the brick wall color. I used up the two different colors, and I'll show you a picture how they look together, because I was taking pictures with my daughter wearing these. sometime last winter. So it was a fun project, and I was happy to use up some of the yarn, and they turned out to be a really nice set in my opinion. And after I had finished them, my daughter said that yeah, she would really like some like arm warmers, and she showed me some pictures, I think, and I actually used the idea from the gloves. I made a provisional cast on here at the rib. Well, I'll show it. I'll show the finished project. She picked the colors. We went to the grocery store, and these were the yarns we found there. But being Novita Nalle yarn, it's a 75% wool, 25% polyamide yarn, and she feels that it prickles. But anyway, so I made them. These are the the arm warmers, not leg warmers. I can't see the screen, it's gone black. But the idea how I did it was I made a provisional cast on here at the wrist, started knitting it up and doing as in the gloves. I'm gonna take it off, it's just too hot. So, and then I just started doing the thumb and then cast it off and then bound it off. Why am I using cast off? Anyway, and then I did the hand. At some point made a few rows of rib and then bind off, and then I picked up from the wrist and I started going down or up, whatever, in the different in the opposite direction. And I was, we were trying them all on every now and then to find out where I needed to increase, because of course the arm gets thicker towards the elbow. So that's how we did that. And then of course in here the last few rows are in what is this called? In Finnish it's helmineule. I know it's not bead stitches in English. Maybe I forget. Whatever. It's got, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, and then on the next row you'll purl the ones that you had knit and then knit the ones you'd purled on the previous row. And that's how you do the pattern. But yeah, so they're Tuvitan alle. This sort of petrol greenish color is 183, colorway number 183. And then this purple one is 702. And yeah, that's one pair done. But then of course she decided that they were very ticklish, and I don't know if she used them a lot at all, but she requested, I performed, and no, she wasn't too happy with the result. Tough luck. And now I have a few pairs of socks. The first one I knit is here. If I can't fit it on the screen because I can't see it, I'll put some pictures here. But this pattern is by Adrian Fong. It's called Lady Claire. And the yarn I used here is some really, really fun colored yarn. It's from Louhittaren Luola. I have the tag. Louhittaren Luola Väinämöinen. Maybe you'll see it on the screen. So Väinämöinen is the base. 75% wool, superwash wool, I think. 25% nylon. It's got 400 meters in 100 grams. And this colorway is called Kettu, which means fox. looks like this on the skein. This is my leftover skein, and yeah, knit up, it looks like this. I just love it. So this pattern is a cuff down sock. Start here. At first I was using some beads, and I think they even showed other, like, the pattern had beads in it. But the beads weren't really good quality. I had bought them at some sort of a knick-knack store in Jyväskylä, and they are pretty much the same size, but the size of the hole wasn't consistent, so it was frustrating. It was frustrating because I couldn't get it on the stitch, and then I just gave up at one point. But yeah, I did some beads up until this part of the leg, and then I just decided, okay, fine, I'm gonna go without beads for the rest of the sock. But it's a really, really nice lace pattern. There's even lace in the heel flap, and then you pick up some stitches, do a French heel turn, and then of course the gusset decreases, and the rest of the foot, ending with Kitcheneering the toe. And what do I have in my notes? Use 2.5mm needles. That's US size 1.5. I did these on magic loop. Knit these on magic loop 2 at a time, and I really, really love how this colorway works. For example, here in the stockinette, you can see it best in there, but I think it looks really fun in the lace part too. It's really great. I love the socks, and these are for myself. I will be wearing them because they are such a great pair. I totally love them. Really happy to have knit them. That's sort of the first pair of this episode, I think. And here's another one.
Okay, my sister's eldest daughter, my first niece, had her birthday, and we were supposed to go there. And if we had, I would have shown you just pictures, but we had some car trouble, and so I'll be able to show you the socks that I made her this year. So here it is. Okay, let's see if I can fit them on the screen, and hopefully you'll see something. The lighting's not great, but that's how it is. I'm indoors, and I hope that you can't hear the leaf blowers or something too badly. They're doing something. They're getting rid of some of the muck from winter. But yeah, this pattern is from Adrian Fong. It is called Island Paradise, and oops, it's a pair. The yarn I used is from Skein Queen. Don't think I can get it to focus, but whatever. Skein Queen. It's on my Ravelry project page. The yarn, the base is called Crush, and the colorway, this colorway is called April Showers. This is how it looks on the messy cake that I have left over. I have an idea what to where to use it after this, but I'll have leftover even after that. Anyway, so this yarn base is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it's got 425 meters in 100 grams. And this pattern, so it's Bottom up, I used 2.5 millimeter needles, as I do with fingering weight yarn. Bottom up, did I say? Cuff down, whatever, cuff down pattern. You cast on a certain number of stitches, and then you immediately start doing the cuff, which is just not a normal 1x1 rib or anything. As you can see, there's this sort of a, well, it's not a cable, but you know, these twisted stitches going on, for example, here and on the side, and then you have some lace here at the back of the sock, and then the same lace on the front of the sock. I can fit it in the screen. Yeah, I guess you can see it. So you have the same lace going four times, and then you have these sort of cables in between. And even the heel flap is not just ordinary slip stitch heel, as you can see. You have this cable going down. You have some twisted rib at the back of the heel, and then yeah, just a normal 1x1 rib here on the edge of the heel flap, so that it's nice and tidy to pick up the stitches after the heel turn, which was just a normal French heel turn. Let's see if I can, yeah, I guess you can see it now. I really love this color. Earlier I have made them socks that have been really like shocking colors. I like it, but apparently the young ladies are not as keen or are not as crazy about this crazy colored socks as I am. So this time, last year, I made them gray socks as requested, and this year I decided that I'll try and find colorways that are calm enough. So I think these will go nicely with a pair of jeans or something. Very nice. And even though it's not a plain like solid color, it doesn't have much of pooling or stripes or anything going, so it's nice and variegated, in my opinion. And then some speckles every now and then, which I find are pretty fun. The pattern itself, well, as usual, very easy to follow. Of course, you do have to know how to read charts and maybe have some experience in knitting socks, because otherwise, well, there's a few things to consider at once. But in my opinion, a very nice and straightforward pattern to follow, and nothing that I had to fix or anything. Didn't even make any modifications, if I can remember. And then of course the grafting at the toe. So yes, now I can go and put this in the mail for my sister's daughter.
And I have one more pair of socks to show you, but this one I don't have any notes and I can't really remember much of anything, but I'll show them to you anyway because these are something that will they're a gift, so I'm gonna give them away. This is the pair. Okay, now I think you can see it. They are for my father-in-law, so they're a bit bigger than my usual socks, and that's why I don't have them on the mannequin legs. But they are a cuff-down sock. I think I did German twisted cast on in here just to be sure that it had a lot of give here and wouldn't be too tight. And then you have like panels of different motifs. I really thought it was a fun thing to knit. The cuff is kind of short. No, the leg is kind of short. I could have made it longer, but then again, I don't think this is from my father-in-law. Did I mention it? He has his 80th birthday, so that's why I made him a pair of socks. I don't think he'll mind, but I feel that the leg is kind of short. Could have been longer. I did it as in pattern. You'll find the name of the pattern and the designer on the screen. It has been a mystery sock knitting project, but the mystery was over. I think it was from last year or something. Anyway, it was in French, but with diagrams or the charts, so easy to make even if you don't understand French too much. If you made some socks, that is. But yeah, maybe my row count is off. Very possible. But yeah, I could have made it longer. I was knitting these 2 at a time on magic loop with my 2.5mm needles, and the color or the yarn is from Wool Me Once. I'll fill the other details on the screen. I had bought it at a fair in Jyväskylä, I think a year ago. Loved it. I love the different shades of green in the color. It really looks nice, even knitted up, and on the screen skein it was really nice. Then it had a normal heel flap, a French heel turn, and then the modification I made was that I didn't have the gusset decreases here up on the side of the foot. They are on the sole, so I'll take it off this thing. So, which means that the decreases are here on the bottom of the foot, so they'll go round the heel, all of the heel. So I think it'll fit him nicely, or fit any, well, at least fit most feet nicely like that. And then the patterning of the pattern didn't have any more motifs after this one on the top of the foot, so this is just my own version here before the toe, or before and during the toe decreases. So this is how it looks on the top of the foot. And I don't think I've weighed them, but I will, and you'll find the weight in the on the project page, and the link is down below in the description box. Okay, that's all for now. I do have some whips, but I just didn't bring them with me in here, so I just figured that there was a lot. There was enough of stuff to show you even without my whips. I'll show them in a future episode. This was more of a roundup of my finished objects that I've actually made during this winter after last
August maybe, because the episode that I had up on January was clips of video that I had made during the summer, but I had just not edited them into an episode. And now here's another one with stuff that I'd made over the last 8 months or so, and nothing new, nothing in progress, or I won't show you anything in progress because I'm so far behind on podcasting. But the summer is finally starting here in Finland, and I'm enjoying the sunshine, I'm enjoying the warmth, and I will have time for knitting and for myself after the school year. It will end in a couple of weeks, I think. I don't have any teaching, or I only have 1 day of teaching, so I'm just evaluating at the moment. So I'm really doing at my own pace and enjoying that. But I'll record another episode at some point, and I may make no promises, but at the moment I'm just enjoying having some free time and seeing the sun after a long winter. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a pleasant time and enjoying whatever you do. And I'll see you at some point again. Bye.